What happens when nations go nuclear? In this video, we're going to explore what would happen if a country were to launch a nuclear attack, from the immediate aftermath to the long-term consequences. We'll cover it all, so stay tuned for an eye-opening journey into the unthinkable. The year is 2025 and the world as we know it has changed, but not in a good way. The Cold War that has kept the world on edge for decades has finally boiled over. The first is the intense heat and light from the explosion. This can cause severe burns and even ignite fires. The second is the blast wave, which can level buildings and cause serious injuries. And the third is the deadly radiation. Two nuclear-armed nations are engaged in a full-scale conflict with devastating consequences. For example, the skin can absorb small amounts of radiation, and the body's natural processes can repair some of the damage caused by radiation. For example, radioactive fallout can contaminate water and soil, making them unsafe for consumption. This can have serious implications for public health and safety, especially in areas where people rely on local water and food sources. Nevertheless, the effects of radiation can be severe and long. Exposure to radiation can increase the risk of cancer and other health problems, which may not manifest for years or even decades. As the first missiles launch and explode over their targets, it becomes clear that this is just the beginning. You should also protect your head and neck with your arms and try to roll over to your side. After the blast wave has passed, you should get to a safe location as quickly as possible. This is a story of courage, resilience, and the fight for survival in the face of unimaginable odds. What would the world look like around you? Imagine a world shrouded in darkness. The sun is still shining, but the sky is filled with smoke and ash, blocking out the light. Buildings are charred and destroyed. The air is thick with the smell of smoke, and the silence is deafening. Widespread gridlock and societal collapse are likely, leading to widespread panic and desperate measures for survival. Food, scarcity, and starvation loom on the horizon, threatening to decimate the surviving population. Families are torn apart as members venture out into the hazardous landscape in search of food. Cannibalism and infanticide become horrifying realities as desperation drives people to extreme measures to ensure their own survival. The discovery of the bunker offers a temporary reprieve, a chance to rebuild and start anew. But it also exposes the darker aspects of human nature, the struggle for power and control that arises in times of scarcity. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the survivors must learn from the mistakes of the past and strive to create a better future for themselves and for humanity. As the days turn into weeks and the weeks into months, the specter of starvation looms ever larger, threatening to extinguish the last embers of hope. We value your input and encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and stay updated on our latest videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. The agricultural industry has been severely impacted by the conflict. Farmlands have been destroyed, crops have withered, and livestock have perished. The supply chain that brings food to our tables has been shattered, with transportation routes disrupted and processing facilities decimated. The availability of essential nutrients dwindles, leaving those who survived the initial blast facing a new battle against hunger and malnutrition. Ultimately, nuclear winter paints a bleak picture of the aftermath of a nuclear war, emphasizing the importance of diplomacy and conflict resolution to prevent such a catastrophic event. People are running through the streets, their faces covered with masks, desperately trying to escape the danger zone. The once familiar city has become a scene of chaos and destruction. The peaceful skies have turned into a canvas of fire and destruction. A small group of survivors stumbles upon an underground bunker stocked with food and supplies left behind by the government in anticipation of a nuclear attack. At first, it's a haven of plenty, offering a reprieve from the grim reality above. But as word of their discovery spreads, the group must prepare to defend their newfound resources against the desperate and the deranged. A struggle for power and control ensues, pitting neighbor against neighbor, family against family. They'll provide updates on the situation and let you know if it's safe to go outside. Beneath the surface lies a ticking time bomb that threatens to engulf the entire planet. This can lead to a dramatic decrease in global temperatures, disrupting weather patterns and causing widespread crop failures and famine. Additionally, nuclear winter can have devastating consequences for human health, leading to increased rates of cancer and other diseases due to high levels of radiation. Nuclear winter is a term used to describe the potential climatic effects of a large-scale nuclear war. It's characterized by a period of darkness and freezing temperatures that can last for several years. However, by taking these steps, you can increase your chances of survival. If you experience any symptoms of radiation exposure, such as nausea, vomiting, or burns, you should seek medical attention immediately. Will humanity emerge from the ashes, or will it be destroyed forever? That's what we'll find out in today's video. What do you need to do to survive a nuclear blast? If you're within a few miles of the explosion, you should drop to the ground and cover your head and neck with your arms. This can help protect you from the intense heat and light of the explosion. It's a question that many people ask themselves, particularly in light of recent events in Ukraine. You should also avoid using electrical or electronic equipment, including phones and appliances, as these can amplify the electromagnetic pulse generated by the blast. If you're in a car, you should get under cover as quickly as possible and stay there until the radiation is passed. If you're caught outside without shelter, you should lie flat on the ground and protect your head and neck with your arms. But before we dive in, we'd like to ask you to support our work. Your support helps us continue to produce high-quality videos that inform and entertain. So please take a moment to show your support. Let's get started. In the immediate aftermath of a nuclear blast, there are three primary dangers that people face. Gamma rays are highly energetic photons that can penetrate deep into the body, damaging DNA and causing cancer and other health problems. However, even relatively low doses can have serious consequences. For example, exposure to as little as 1 sievert of gamma radiation can cause radiation sickness, including symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and hair loss. Higher doses can lead to more severe symptoms like burns, organ damage, and even death. There are also neutrons, and they can cause cancer by interacting with the body's atoms to form radioactive isotopes. These isotopes then decay, emitting radiation that damages cells and tissues. There are different types of radiation, but the most dangerous is gamma radiation. The amount of radiation exposure needed to cause these effects varies depending on the type of radiation and the duration of exposure. However, it's important to note that the human body has some natural defenses against radiation. Radiation can also contaminate the environment, making it unsafe for people to live or work there. Overall, while the human body does have some natural defenses against radiation, it is important to take steps to protect yourself from exposure to high levels of radiation, as it can have serious and long-lasting effects on both human health and the environment. But what if you had a chance to escape the disaster zone? Where could you go and how could you survive? If you find yourself close to an atomic blast, your best chance of survival is to move away from the epicenter as quickly as possible. After the explosion, you should stay indoors and seal off any cracks or gaps in the building. When the blast wave hits, it's important to stay on the ground until it passes. It's also important to monitor news reports and follow the instructions of emergency personnel. Overall, surviving a nuclear blast depends on many factors, including the strength of the bomb, the distance from the explosion, and the availability of shelter. But what if you manage to survive the initial blast? This is the grim reality of a city after a nuclear strike. But the true horror of this event is not immediately apparent. One of the most significant impacts of nuclear winter is the blockage of sunlight due to smoke and dust particles released from the explosions and fires that ravage cities and military installations. Surviving nuclear winter requires seeking shelter underground or in remote areas with minimal infrastructure and supplies. As the smoke clears and the fires die down, another danger emerges. In this desperate struggle for sustenance, people are forced to make unimaginable choices. And then it happens, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. In the end, the discovery of the bunker reveals the true nature of humanity, capable of both great kindness and unspeakable horror. Now it's your turn to weigh in. What are your thoughts on the hidden dangers of nuclear warfare and the potential for a nuclear winter?